Nothing much, just chilling.
Just chilling. That sounds about right.
Yep. What we doing today?
We are going to hopefully finish our Google slide, and then well, there'll be an assignment at the end.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So hopefully we'll get that done. Hello, everybody. Jenna, Kaden, Shane, Anaya, Ember, Monica. Good to see everybody. Did everyone have a good weekend? Skylar. Anybody do anything exciting? Anything worth mentioning?
I read a book for the first time since like sixth grade.
Tell me, what was the book?
It was a comic book, but it was like 100 pages long.
Oh, wow. Now, was that because it was assigned or because you just wanted to read it?
I was just bored. I didn't have anything to do.
That's hilarious. That's a good boredom. Got you to do something out of your comfort zone.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
my family was surprised.
Ah, that's funny. We'll just wait a couple minutes. You guys are early, or no, are you early? No, you're not early. I'm late. Okay. So you do need to open your warm up, please, from last time. We'll be turning those in on Wednesday, but they're not due till Friday, just to give everybody a little bit of leniency in case you got in late and didn't get the warm up or whatever the reason is. But I'm gonna start with that. So, and then once I'm done, then you guys should go and pull out your note page that you've been working on, and we're gonna continue with that. So, of course, this isn't going to open fast because I'm on camera. So let's see if we can make it go a little faster here. All right. So your question pertains to last week and what we talked about. And it's, what do you call a social custom that prohibits the use of certain edible resources as food? So those are in your notes. Do you have to have it correct? No. You can make a good educational guess. But if you want to know the answer, I would prefer you to look at notes. Please don't Google. And then just make sure it's in a complete sentence. So we got 2 minutes on the clock starting now. So go into your Google Drive and pull up your warm-up page, and you're going to add today's date and start answering that question. "50 seconds.
Wait, we're doing the question, what do you call the beliefs and social customs of a group?
Yes.
We did that one already.
Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I read this one. Oh, did we? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, because you missed Monday, and I mentioned it Wednesday that we didn't do the Monday one, so you did two at the same time.
Okay, sorry. I just didn't forward it along like I should have. This is your one about social customs that prohibit the use of certain edible resources as food. Sorry, that's today's. I must have, I don't know. I was thinking I read that one, but maybe I didn't. What do crazy things sometimes? So if you need to, still work on that one, that's okay. I'll give you, 30 seconds or something. Whose hands up?
No one's hands up. You just tripping, Mrs. Zebka.
I just heard the bloop.
Ain't nobody put their hand up.
Well, I just heard it went bloop. Maybe someone's put it up and put it right back down. Who knows? All
I've
right.
been on this screen the whole time.
Oh, I don't know. I just heard it. All righty. So who knows the answer to that question?
I'm pretty sure I do.
What is it?
Ain't it like a food something something? It starts with a T, tab, something. You know what I'm talking about?
A food taboo?
Yes, that thing.
Yes, I think you could put that to music. A food taboo. That's right. Good job, Shane. Good job, Zach. That's correct. So again, if you didn't have the answer, it's not a crisis. As long as you had, a good educational guess, we're good. Okay. All right. So I do want to do I like to always kind of go over some of the things that we've talked about. And if we were in class, we would do different things to do that. But the virtual thing is kind of a challenge. So I am going to read a definition and you tell me what words that we've used in class that you think would fall under this word. Okay. Okay. So let me see. Which one do I want to ask here? Okay. What do you call a food that is prepared according to Jewish dietary law? What is that called? A food prepared according to Jewish dietary laws. What is the word that matches with that? And you should be pulling out your notes anyway, so you could be scrolling and looking what lines up with that. A food prepared according to Jewish dietary law.
Kosher.
Kosher, thank you. Good job, Ember. Okay, and then we did the food taboo one. So a typical standard or pattern related to food and eating behaviors. This is one that I asked you to write down in your notes that was an extra. A typical standard or pattern related to food and eating behaviors. It's called a food what? Starts with an N. A food what? Typical standard or pattern related to food and eating behaviors. It's called a food norm. Thank you. Okay. Trying to look at the ones that we've covered. A food that is typical of a given racial, national, or religious culture. What type of food? A food that is typical of a given racial, national, or religious culture. Blank food. They share blood ties, land ties. It's ethnic. Oh, shoot, I just gave the answer. Ethnic food. Duh. Okay. And then what do you call it when there's beliefs and social customs of a group of people? Beliefs and social customs of a group of people.
Culture.
Thank you. That is correct. And then what about that it's root-based in other cultures? Root-based in other cultures.
Historic.
Historic. Yep. Very good. Okay. Those are the things that we've talked about today. or the last time we met, and we're going to continue forward talking more about certain things. So if you pull your notes up, I believe, and then Ember, I'm going to use you as my temperature today. Did we get through kosher? Did we do anything with family?
Not yet. We're on family.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you for letting me know. So we're going to go ahead and head back to our slides, and you guys need to pull up your document. If you weren't with us before, I'll give you a heads up here. So if I go into Google Classroom, it's in week number 1, and it says guided notes. So factors affecting food choices, guided notes. And you need to go all the way down the note page to where it says social influences on food choices, and families number 1. And so that's where we're going to be starting today. Okay. So, here we go. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, back to this. All right, so here we go. So for family, I usually, like I've said before, I try to underline what is most important and what should be in your notes, so if that's helpful. And then I usually have some things I say about each and every slide. So if I'm talking about something, you're like, where is she talking? Where is she looking? I'm looking at my notes. So you're not going to be able to see those. Okay, so family, for many, family is the most important, powerful influence on your food choices. So like family, you know, often plays a role in your relationships. They, you know, basically influence the food choices that you have. So they're gonna, you know, influence your diet, especially, you know, for younger eaters. You can't, you know, your parents are providing the foods that are in front of you. You get table manners from your parents. Whether you like or dislike certain foods, like I was telling the other hours that my parents never made Brussels sprouts ever. Like it's just something that my mom, either her parents didn't give her Brussels sprouts or she didn't like them. So then for our family, she never made them. But come to find out, I love Brussels sprouts, you know, but they were never prepared for me. And so I never knew that I liked them or didn't like them because they were something that was never prepared for me. So sometimes you fall under some of the same types of food your parents don't like, you don't like because you haven't been exposed to them. We also have our traditions types of things like holidays and the things that we eat and birthdays or other special occasions that our families hold dear to them that they can pass on or influence us in that way. Sometimes there's a secret recipe that gets passed down. I know in my family's German. And so we have this recipe. It's going to be really weird, but they're called Lebkuchens. And they're a type of cookie, kind of like a gingerbread, but they're a little bit different in how they're prepared. But it's considered a German cookie, and my family loves it. But I couldn't say that maybe other people that would try it may not like it because it's not something they're familiar with. So, you know, that does play a part. Can you guys think of anything that is similar to your story like mine? Is there anybody that has gone to a friend's house, let's say, and has tried something that they've never had before because their parents don't make it? Anybody out there with an experience like that? Nobody? I have a Brussels sprout story. They went to somebody's house and tried something different.
I got a story for you.
Okay, I'm glad I'm sitting down for this.
All right, so my parents, right, when I was younger, they never cooked up some broccoli, right? I came over to my grandparents' house and they cooked me some, and yeah, that's that. Now I have it like every time I eat.
So you like it?
Yes.
Okay, well that's my Brussels sprout story. Now here's another one. Do you have something like this? Like my parents always had at the table pickled beets. And to this day I cannot stand pickled beets. Do your
I
parents have
do indeed.
something? What's that?
I do indeed. It
What
is
is
anything with cheese on it.
I knew you were gonna say that.
There you go.
You're an oddity. Everyone likes cheese but Zach.
I can't deal with Brussels sprouts. Only if
Oh,
there's
you
bacon wrapped around them. That's the only way I'll eat them.
Oh my Lord, Tyra. I love them. Oh my gosh.
They're good with bacon wrapped around. That's
Well,
all I
okay.
guess.
I think anything with bacon wrapped around it is good. Oh goodness. All right. So just going back to family, we have single parent households. We have two parents at home. We have kids that are really active and busy. We have kids that just stay home. We have big families, small families. And so all of this does play a part on the influence that our family has on our eating habits too, if we look at it this way, just because of the fact that, like my sister has 4 kids, and it was almost as if during dinner time it was a race to see who could eat or who could get what they wanted to eat, because if the last kid came to the table late, they weren't going to get as much as the one that was there right at the get-go. Okay, so sometimes that plays a part, and a family member being a large family and then not having enough food for everybody, sometimes that plays a part. But there's lots of things to think about and consider. Family values makes a difference in the kinds of changes seen in family food behaviors. Traditions such as making special foods and eating together are important values in some families. Like I know people that never sit down at a table ever to eat a meal together, So half of all Americans in the US still eat at least one meal per day together. So in the chat, give me a 1 if you eat as a family at least once a week. Put a 2 in the chat if you never eat together at all. Okay, we got some people. It's kind of a mixed bag. Okay. So you can kind of see how that could possibly influence, the influence your parents have upon you. Also, we're going to move on to the next slide, which is your friends. So friends, food and friendship go together. The word companion comes from the Latin word with bread. Sharing tastes and foods foster a sense of belonging and identity. So sometimes your friends play a part on like what you like to eat, where you eat, when you eat. So like for example, have you noticed that your friends like many of the same foods that you like pizzas, tacos, hamburgers, French fries, milkshakes, soft drinks? Where is that anywhere people gather, you are likely to see food. So like sporting events, movies, parties, church gatherings. If you went to the mall, you might stop at the food court or get a pretzel or what have you. But all places where people meet with friends, they also typically it's around food or it's a possibility of food being part of that. And then the when is, after school sometimes you invite people over to your house. You guys, like I always say, my kids come home and ransack the kitchen for snacks. So different things like that. And then friends also, they make choices based on nutritional knowledge or the influence of your peers. So sometimes foods that people perceive as being popular are not most helpful. So like cookies, cakes, chips, pops, are things that maybe are things that you and your friends eat together. But remember, they're high in calories, fats, loaded with sugar, and not much nutritional value. So sometimes, we fall into bad habits with our friends at times. Okay, so status food. Because let me think of well, let me give you the definition first, and then Ember, let me know if I skipped too quickly on that. But social influences are foods that have social impact on others, usually expensive foods. So, usually it's a sign of money, wealth, position in the community. It's usually they cost quite a bit. They don't really have a whole lot to do with nutritional value. So what would be a food that you would think would be a status food? What do you guys think? Like, what would be a status food? What would be like a really expensive food that you've heard about or classified as only being served to the wealthy, that kind of thing? Well, I'll give you what?
I got you.
What'd you say, Jenna? I think you hit
Caviar.
Yeah, that's the one I have in my notes. So caviar.
Damn, but I was just about to say that.
You were? Okay, good. Calamari. Oh, okay. So you were trying to say caviar. Like, some people it'd be steak because that can be pretty expensive. For others, it might be like crab legs. There's different perspectives on, what is a status food and what isn't a status food. But I would say, caviar would definitely be one of those that is quite expensive and, probably wouldn't be served on just, going to McDonald's, obviously, or even to a local restaurant could be that. Okay, so that would be considered a status food. All right, so hopefully you were able to get that definition down. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the media. Now, the media is something we're going to do kind of a sidebar on. Just like I told you last week, we're going to do a sidebar on regional foods. We're first going to talk and tackle social media. And so I'm going to get back to my slideshow here. Okay, so when we talk about media, we talk about advertisements and news reports that can alert you to food trends, new products, the latest nutritional advice. Like right now, because we're in January, I don't know if you're on Facebook, but maybe some of the other social media sites, but it's all about dieting and the newest, latest medication that's out there to help you lose weight. And people are going to the gym and signing up for memberships. And, it's just really big on that. And that's all advertisement. Okay. So usually we'll see a big increase in, products being sold like that or going to gyms. And then we're going to see a drop off probably, mid-March, start of April, where the trends are now starting to go back to normal. Okay. Because people get off that, that new year, what do I want to call that? Where they make a resolution and then they get off of it in a couple months. So that plays a part. People often respond to ads without even realizing it. So, sometimes you do things and it's directly influenced by advertisements and you aren't even aware that it's influenced you in that way. So just become aware of the media influences on you. Measure products and claims using logic rather than emotion. So that's going to be a key for that. The media carry food advertisement. TV commercials are designed to equate you with products. Research shows that children in the U.S. view an average of 22,000 commercials a year. Children become socialized to want the food they see advertised. So I can remember as a child wanting cereals because, like it was Cocoa Puffs or it was Captain Crunch or, Lucky Charms because of the commercial. And, they would have enticing things like marshmallows, for God's sakes. And you just wanted that cereal because you wanted to know what it tastes like. So more than half of the commercials are for foods high in calories, sugar, salt, and fat. So they're not really advertising the ones that are really good for you. And that the advertisers use different ploys to kind of get you to buy their products. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click off of this. Ember, you're my temperature. Are we good to do that?
Ben asked if you can go back to the other slide for a second.
The status one?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Ben, I'm hoping that we're good to go. And remember, there's a video, so you can always go back to the video and look at where you missed some information. Okay, so now we're going to go into advertising techniques, and you should follow along right with your notes. So ads everywhere. Ads are put in many places: magazines, websites, buses, billboards, movies, displays, packaging, and clothing to consistently remind us about the food product. Okay, so you're going to see ads pretty much wherever you go. They are everywhere. And they're kind of like subliminal messages, like you're not really comprehending, but you're seeing and your eyes will remember. So your first one under number 5 of selling food advertising techniques is ads everywhere. Ember, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Thank you. I figured it would. Okay, your number 2 is looking good. So foods and ads often look better than real life. Extreme close-ups trigger our sense of taste, smell, making us crave that food. So when we talk about advertisement, I'm going to actually show you a person that is an artist when it comes to food preparation and how they actually prepare a food to be photographed and how it's completely different than how it's presented in the food establishment. Okay, so your number 2 is looking good. Your number 3 is celebrities. So ads with celebrities put a familiar face on the product. For kids, the celebrities could be cartoons, movie stars, TV characters, anything that's going to draw them in to the food product. Okay, even selling it is part of that. So your number 3 is celebrities. Health claims. Many ads claim or imply that the product is good for you. While they may convince you to buy, these claims are often unclear or inaccurate. So sometimes when they put light on the packaging, they're talking about the food product being light in color, not light as in fat or calories or whatever they're trying to sell. Okay, so you got to make sure you read the fine print. So our number 4 is health claims. Okay,
What was number 1?
Ads everywhere. And this is still part of number 5. It claims about taste or popularity. Many ads describe foods' deliciousness or popularity to sell the product. So this is where I was telling you where you have one that looks absolutely delicious and the other one is actually how it's wrapped in the package and you receive it. So that's just going to tell you a little bit about the claims about the taste or popularity. I guess this is number 5. Did I mess one up? I guess not. Sorry, this one's number 5. Claims about taste or popularity.
What is 4?
Health claims.
Oh, okay.
And then number 6 is overdoing it. So ads may show big portion sizes or people who can't stop eating the product, both of which encourage you to eat a lot. Like the one I'm thinking of is, have you seen that Cheese Nip commercial? Do you know which one I'm talking about? Where they're like doing some kind of a product. What is it called? Like a product sampling, and they're all in like a booth with a two-way mirror. And the chick goes up to the window and says something about the Cheese Nip, that everybody loves it or something. It's just showing, that people can't stop eating it. And, so that kind of plays a part in selling the product. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Okay, good. I'm like, nobody's responding to me. Am I like making this up?
I'm lost. I have no clue what you're talking about.
Really? You've never seen that commercial?
No.
Okay, well, that's good. You don't watch much TV. Good job. That's good. All right. So now we're going to go into merchandising techniques. Like, how do they entice their product to get us to buy it? So the first thing they're going to do, oh, this is still part of the other ones, but I think that, yeah. Okay, so this isn't on your notes, okay? So this is just me finishing up this section. So other things that they do to sell their food is they offer coupons, movies and TV, contests, games, giveaways, donations, point of sale. So they like put things out in the center type of deal, end caps, things like that. Shelving positions are all part of, helping to sell their product. So now we're going to talk about merchandising techniques. Okay. All right. So this is where your 1 through 7 is going to come in. All right. So items like potato chips, candy, soft drinks are distributed throughout the store to get the customer to walk past them. So perhaps they will buy on impulse. So like when I would take my kids shopping, I would hate to check out because the checkout counter would have like a little cooler with all these different types of pops and drinks in there. And they would have what you see on the screen here is like all the candy. And so, all through the store, you were dealing with this, but now they're in like a secluded one little section where they're going to be there for a period of time. And you have this right in front of their face. Okay. So that's an impulse temptation. They're trying to get you to buy this product right there because they know you're going to spend your most amount of time at the register checking out, waiting for your turn. And this is going to entice you to buy it. Okay. So impulse temptation. You're impulsive. You go and you take it, even though it's not on your shopping list or that you had no intention of buying it. So they're going to have those out there for you. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when you go down the center aisles, they have usually 2 or 3 spots in the center for chips, at least the store that I shop at. So that's just a good indicator of that temptation that's there.
Do we put this down for number 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Number 2, shelf placement. Have you ever noticed where the foods are in the store when you buy them? Like here's just a perfect example. The cereal aisle. Where do you find all the sugar cereals compared to all the healthy cereals? Have you ever noticed?
The sugary cereals are like more up in the front than the healthy ones are.
And they're more towards the bottom because it's at a kid's level, like a 5 to 8-year-old when they're walking in the store, it's right at their level. So they can see Captain Crunch. They can see the Lucky Charms. You can see all of that, where all the healthy cereals usually are way up high so that you have to look up to see them. So some of the key points on the slide are that pricey products generally sit on the highest shelf, top shelf. Lower shelves are destination products. Bottom shelves, least popular generic products. And then eye level, they're the most competitive. High impulse or most enticing products are right in that center spot where you can just reach out and grab them. And people that are selling to Walmart or Meijer or whatever, they compete for those shelves. Okay. So, they might have to sell their product at a higher cost or give the company a higher percentage because of where their product is going to be placed. Okay. So that does play a part. So shelf placement is key. Next time you go to the store, just look at those things. Points of sale. So impulse items are placed at or near checkout lanes to get customers to purchase more. So here's a perfect example of what we talked about before about, how those products are going to be right there. And they're going to assume that you're going to pick 1 or 2 of them up. So it's kind of like how they can make a sale or get a consumer to pick up a product that they might not have if it wasn't right here in the front of the store. Like, have you ever thought about this one? Well, I'll get to that one. I won't say that ahead of time. Okay, so this is number 4. Promotional placements. So, promotional product with the highest profit margin on the store end caps. So, they're going to have the label things at the end caps and not have like the ones that are cheaper out there, because they want you to pick those up because they are going to cost more money. Sometimes they have dump bins for closeout items, or consumers associate these bins with cheap prices. So like this summer I worked at Menards, let's say, and they have bins in the center of their aisles where we would have boxes that would just come in, and we would just open them and just dump the product in there, whether it be a closeout, whether it's just a cheap product that, you know, it's produced in high quantity so that they can offer it at that cheap or discounted price. But a lot of times there are those like cheap bins, sometimes people call them dump bins, things like that, that are for promotional products, and they place them in those specific areas. Then you got your store planning. But why do you think they put eggs, milk way back in the back? Is it because they want to drive the customer crazy? Well, maybe. But because they know that those are staples, things that everybody needs in their household. And so they want to put them in the farthest space in their store, because that means you have to walk by all the impulse buys. And you are impulsive and may purchase those things. So that's why they have those there. Usually, you know, all the processed foods are right in the center of the store. So all your boxed foods, canned foods, things like that. If you want to be healthy, it's better to go on the outside parts of the store, because those are all things that aren't considered highly processed, like the things that are in the center of the store. You know, when you buy your boxed noodles or you buy your boxed mashed potatoes or things like that, there's a lot of things in those that aren't very good for you. Okay, they go through a lot of processes to get to that point. Then we have
Miss Zepka.
Yes.
I have a question. So you cracked up really bad
Oh,
when
okay.
we were on number 2. So I didn't get
I thought you were saying I was laughing. I was cracking up.
Oh.
So number 2 was shelf placement.
Yeah, I got number 2. I just need 3 and 4.
Okay. So number 3 is point of sale.
Okay.
And number 4 is promotional placement.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you are welcome. Okay, and then we're going to go on to stimulate the appetite. So using a combination of natural light and different types of lighting, like spotlights, direct customers' eyes towards certain food areas. Okay, so you might notice in the produce section, it's very lit up as far as lights are concerned. And that's going to help draw the eye to those foods. They're also right there when you walk in. So lighting makes the colors of fruits and vegetables more vibrant. And so that's why the produce section is usually in the front of the store, to stimulate that appetite. And then the last one is in here. This one we haven't been able to partake in for almost a year. And that is in-store sampling. So, some people went to Sam's Club during the lunch rush because they knew that they could walk through Sam's Club and have their lunch because of all the sampling that was happening. Or sometimes in other stores, they would have a new product, or maybe, have an overstock of something and try to stimulate sales on it. So they're going to offer free samples for customers. So sometimes that entices the consumer to purchase the food item as well. So food samples. I know sometimes it does for me just because I probably would never have bought that product had I not had an opportunity to sample it. And usually, it's something that I think I would use or something that tasted good, and that's why I might purchase it. So those are the point of sale as far as merchandising techniques and how they get the consumer to buy their product. Okay, so now we're going to talk about personal influences on food choices. Okay, and a lot of that has to do with your emotional state. So this is going to take you right to the end of the notes where we are going to talk about the personal influences on food choices, and there's 4 sections there that we're going to touch on. Okay, so the first one is going to be that emotional response that you are going to have with food. So you may reach for a comfort food when you're stressed or unhappy, and those can lead to, eating disorders or, overeating, undereating, those kinds of things. And they also bring with them a strong association to pleasant and unpleasant. So like, when I go home, let's say to my mom and dad's house, there's certain foods that would just probably make me feel really at ease and, bring back a lot of pleasant memories that I would have with that type of food that's being made. And, I would say that some people are more emotional when it comes to food than other people. Some people have no huge emotion when it comes to eating, and some people have, almost too much. And so that does play a part on the influence that we have on the foods that we eat. So what feelings come to mind when I say these words? Okay. And our assignment later is going to be something similar to this, but this will give you kind of a idea of what we might do here in a little bit. Okay. I'm reading Zach's comment. Yeah, exactly. So if I said the word chocolate, put something in the chat that when I said that word, what was the emotion that came out in you? What was the emotion when I said chocolate? Give me an emotion.
Like sad?
Okay, so you refer to chocolate as sadness. So like when you're sad, you're like, I need a chocolate bar. Okay. Any other feelings? I'm kind of excited because it's something delicious, and I'm excited about getting the opportunity to eat it. So that excites me.
I feel concentrated.
Chocolate's going to make you concentrate. Good.
Well,
Good
yeah,
advice
because-
for when we go back to school. I'll have tons of chocolate bars in my
Yeah,
notes.
hey, hear me out. So, I'm playing video games, right? And I got
Yeah.
some chocolate next to me, so I eat it, right? And I feel concentrated.
Gotcha. Good to know. What if I said the word liver? What emotion comes into play?
A pig.
Okay, well, there's other animals that have liver,
Well, yeah, you just said the first thing that came to my mind. That's the first thing that came to my
What
mind.
emotion comes to mind?
Emotion.
Yeah. What feelings?
Nasty.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Or go ahead. Oh, I thought someone was going to say something. What if I said ice cream? What emotion comes,
Delicious.
or your feelings? Religious? Is that what
Happy. No, I said delicious.
what religion gives ice cream? I'm going to join. Okay. So, some research might indicate that, like, for example, people connect maleness with like hearty foods such as steak and potato, and like feminine foods, are more dainty, like parfaits or quiches. So sometimes this plays a role because it's a stereotype that, that could lead into some people's thinking with emotion. Some comfort foods for you, and you can also add in one if you have one, is like macaroni and cheese might be comforting to somebody, or having a soup on a cold day. Chocolate, versus what Zach said, might cheer you up if you're not, feeling the best, maybe emotionally. Some people have a fear of food because they are anorexic or bulimic, and they look at it as, weight gain or something like that. That provokes a, kind of an altered emotion in a negative way of how they deal with food. All right, we're in the homeward stretch here. Okay, so using food to deal with emotion, cortisol cravings with our blood sugar, social eating, nervous energy. I think, maybe playing that video game, it's nervous energy. And so you do something to try to quell or squelch your nervousness that comes out when that happens. So those are, some possibilities there. And this is your number 2 with ABC being cortisol, cravings, social eating, nervous energy. Okay, so our next one talks about rewards or punishments. So what types of foods have you been given by anybody in your life for a reward? Can you think of anything?
Wait, can you say that again?
Yep. What in your life have people given you food for a reward?
In 7th grade, I used to be a little crazy. And so Mrs. Smithke, every time I have a good day in class, she'd give me a sucker.
Okay. Anybody else have any other things, maybe from a parent as a reward when it comes to food?
I have something to tell.
Okay. I'm ready.
Sorry, my family was being loud. So,
Okay.
I used to suck my thumb as a child. So my reward was getting those little Pez dispensers.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep. So what would be some of the consequences, do you think, with using food as a reward?
You get fat.
Okay, so there's possibly an emotion that goes along with getting a reward, which could lead to, just some weight management problems. What about the negative effect of using it as punishment? Like, for example, if you don't eat all your peas, you can't have, or you can't do. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I'm lost.
Okay, so like if I withheld dessert, let's say from a misbehaving child, it could cause the child to have a negative emotion towards food because they get in trouble when they, don't eat certain things, or, whatever it may be, if I'm disciplining because of, food. So rewards undermine healthy eating, often leads to either overeating, high sugary foods, cavities, weight gain. Punishment, so like the clean plate, encourages bad eating habits, encourages people to eat when they're not hungry. So you just got to be, it's kind of a fine line that you have to walk with that one.
I got taught how to swim with the candy bar when I was
Did
young.
you really?
Yeah. Both my mom and dad were like, if you jump in the deep end, we'll give you a candy bar. And I was like, all right. It took me about like 15 minutes to get in there, but then did it. So how I learned how to swim.
Oh my goodness. Crazy. Okay, I don't want you to turn these in after we do this last one because I do want to add a little bit to the notes. It won't be a whole ton. There's a couple things that I didn't get covered and I just want to make sure I cover them. So does everyone have A and B on this one for number 3?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I also would like to say that using like food for rewards and punishments. Also, so I'm already an emotional, empathetic person, like extremely emotional and empathetic. Sorry. Sorry. Anyway,
Okay.
so when my mom used to give me food for like rewards, I became like super emotionally attached to food.
Yeah.
So like if somebody eats, so like I know like some people when you like save food and your siblings eat it, it's like, oh dang, that sucks. But I literally cry about it and like it's super sad. And it's just the whole thing.
Yeah, I guess. My goodness. Okay, and then individual preferences, we talked about daily routine and values. You may want to write next to value, this little definition. It's a belief or attitude that is important to somebody. And most everyone knows what a value is. But I will write it in for you. Belief. I'm going to put it in the chat.
Are we writing this under individual preferences?
Yes. Yes. And I'm putting the definition for value just in case people don't know what that is, but I'm pretty sure you do. Okay, so that is the definition of value. A belief or attitude that is important to somebody. Okay, and I'm just keep writing. I'm going to switch gears I want to add a little bit to that, so I got to go grab something supersonic. And then we'll talk about what's next. What
was the other one besides value? Rico, stop. What was the other one besides value?
Daily routine. Okay, I want you to add a couple things on your slides, so just hang tight. I'm trying to pull those up now. Okay, I'm hoping you can see my screen, which I know you can. Okay, so I just want you to add the word agriculture, technology. Well, sorry. Just technology and staple of food is what I want you to write down on your note. My bad. So after number 4, maybe just put like a number 5 and write down agriculture. I did it again. Technology and staple. Okay. So after number 4, I want you to write down technology and staple. Okay. So what also impacts other food choices is agriculture, technology, economics, and politics. And in the next couple slides, I'm going to break it down.
So I'm confused what we're putting for number 3.
Number 3, where it says using food for reward.
No, individual preferences affecting food choices.
Oh, that's number 4. So you're going to put daily routine and value down for that.
So are we putting the agriculture, technology, economics, and stuff under that?
Yes. So you're going to add a number 5 and
Okay.
type that. Yes.
Oh, that helps.
Okay. All right. I think I'm going to have to do that little section the next time we meet, but I have an assignment for you, and I want to talk about that briefly. Okay. So I guess I'm going to go to that really quick. So look at your screen and watch me. Oops. Okay. So this assignment is called Worksheet Food Choices. I'm going to assign it. And it's pretty easy as long as you use your notes and you actually have some to look at. So this is what it looks like. And this will be due before you come to class on Wednesday. So it says, read the quotes below about food choices and then identify the factor influencing each choice. So like, for example, escargot, how can French people bear to eat snails? What part of the factors that influence it goes here? Like, okay, so the example is escargot, which are snails. How can French people bear to eat snails? So which one do you think that is? Is it cultural, emotional, ethnic, individual preference, regional, historical, religious, social, media, or status? What do you think the answer is to that? And your key there is French people. Anybody have a guess on that one? Okay. I'm going to scroll down to the next section, be thinking about that. All right. Match the following terms and definitions. So for the definition, the application of a certain body of knowledge, you would look up here and then write that word on the line. A traditional food of African American ethnic group, you would put the word on that line. Okay. And then the next thing is to quickly write any mental connection each of the following foods call to your mind. For instance, you might think of given food is fattening, feminine, healthy, anything that first comes to mind when you say the word apple. Like for me, it's teacher. Okay, so I would write teacher after that. Okay. So this assignment is due before you come to class Wednesday, and I will be recapping it. Does anyone have any idea about this number 1 yet? Any ideas? I'll give you a hint. It starts with a C. Okay.
Croissant.
What?
I said croissant.
No.
You said think of a food. That's the first food I thought of.
No. I'm talking about the top part.
What's
Anyway,
the top part?
Well, I just went over it. But Tyra, you're right. It's culture. This part, Zach, is what I was talking about.
Oh, my bad.
You were talking about down here when I said the word apple. You said croissant, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and that would be fine to put that down right next to it. No problem. But you need to go through, and number 1, Ember, I think it was, just gave us the answer, and it's culture. So there's your first answer. Now you have a little less to do, but that is the assignment that I'm giving you. And it's due the next time we're together before class. So before class on Wednesday. Due. Okay, so I just wrote that in the chat to just remind you when it's due. And that's my time, people. So enjoy 6th hour, and I will see you back here on Wednesday. We'll go over that worksheet a little bit. I'm not going to go over everything. And then we'll talk about the next thing that we're going to do, which is advertisement. So I will see you guys later. Make sure you get that done. And if you have questions, email.
Peace out.
All right.
Bye, Miss Zepta. Have a nice rest of your day.
Thank you, Nolly. You too.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions? Okie dokie.